I'm living in Bangkok on the Thailand retirement visa. I quit my full-time job in March 2022, thinking that I'd never have to work again. But then within 2 months, I'd managed to lose practically all my money. In this video, I want to talk about how I managed to make it, break it, and then fix it. The story starts back in 2018, when I began taking saving a lot more seriously. I kind of had the realization that unless I really got my act together as far as saving was concerned, I would be working until I was 65. And the idea of waiting to retire until I was 65 really wasn't that appealing. So essentially, I just started saving a little bit every week into this investment plan. And this went on for a few years, a couple of years. And I could see things growing quite nicely. But then in the latter half of 2020, things really started to take off. So I continued with my investments, but the market was just going crazy and things were looking good. Then I changed a couple of investments, and then those new ones seemed to do even better. So I just kind of, I certainly got overconfident. I really thought I knew what I was doing, when in reality, the sensible thing that I'd done was just investing a little bit every week over a longer period of time. And the rest was just a bit of luck, good luck at that stage. And it got to the point where I thought, actually, I can stop working here. It wasn't like I had, I mean, for a lot of people, I probably didn't have that much at all. But for me, considering the amount that I'd sort of saved from my wages, what it had turned into was pretty spectacular. And it meant I could give up my job. So things were looking great. In March 2022, I stopped working my full-time job and, in inverted commas, retired. And this is when it kind of all started to fall apart. In hindsight, my risk management was absolutely atrocious. Because my investments were doing so well, I was reluctant to take anything out. And that meant I was like practically 100% exposed to movement in these investments. And unfortunately for me, 2 months later, in May 2022, things went dramatically wrong. Now, at that time, I was absolutely gutted. I was just thinking, oh, I've been so stupid, I've lost all my money. Fortunately, now I can look back and genuinely laugh about it. It really was a learning experience for me and very humbling. But in hindsight, because I didn't really know what I was doing and I didn't know how to handle or manage risk well or at all, I was destined to lose that money at some stage. So in hindsight, I'm kind of glad I lost it in 2022 so I could learn from it rather than lose it a few years later and then have to start again further down the track. So it got to the stage where even though I'd quit my job in March, by May, early June, I was back in the job market. And I got what was a perfect job at the time, really, really good for my mental health. I went and worked in this like organic Whole Foods shop, not Whole Foods, but kind of a shop like that. And it was great. There was no stress, talking to customers, making sure shelves were stocked, and I didn't take any of the work home with me. So, and it gave me something to do as well, so I kind of just got out of my head. And I did that for a few months, managed to sort of get myself back into a better mental state, and then was offered a job doing some software testing, which is kind of a bit more of my background. And that was great. Got me back earning again, which meant I could do my investing again, this time with a slightly different mindset. And what I realized was that without having a clear goal the first time round, I didn't really know when I'd hit my goal. And in hindsight, if I'd had a proper goal and proper risk management, things could have been a lot different. But the fact that I'd gone back to zero or near enough zero, it gave me a different outlook. It made me realize that just chasing a big number on a computer screen isn't the goal. I mean, that had been my goal first time round. It was like hit a certain number, right, great. Okay, change the goal. Every time the goalposts would shift as soon as I kind of hit a target. And I realized that for me, that was just completely the wrong perspective. I have become a lot more risk averse, which I think is useful. Now that I'm on this retirement visa in Thailand, I don't have the big number that I used to have, but that's okay. I've realized that it's not the number that's important. The number was, I guess, me chasing just a really weird goal. I mean, the whole idea of, like, when I think back to why I started saving in the first place, it was so that I wouldn't have to work. So the goal was always about freedom. But I lost that getting caught up in the numbers. And then, so the goal changed from, or I just lost sight of the fact that the goal was freedom. And the goal suddenly became about numbers, when that's not the goal. That's never been the goal. I just got blinded by that. So where I am now is I'm doing what the actual aim was to live in Asia. I'm doing that. So even though I don't have a huge amount of money, it's made me realize that you don't need a huge amount of money to live the life that you want. Obviously, if you want to live like a billionaire, you kind of have to have. Well, the thing is, even billionaires probably aren't even spending billions. That's the thing. Even though I've got less savings than I once had, I've got more freedom. I'm confident that I've learned some lessons about money management, and I think I'm better with my personal finances now. So that's been a real achievement. But also the realization that I don't need vast sums of money to live the kind of lifestyle I want. And that's been really liberating. I guess in a roundabout way, I've got to where I was trying to get to. I just took a detour, which was really a distraction, going a different way towards numbers on a screen, which wasn't really my goal in the first place. So I don't know if I'd ever want to lose all my money, but in hindsight, it all worked out. The important thing for me is that I'm 50 now and I'm not working a full-time job. And that was really the goal. So hopefully I'm going to have the next 15 years to be able to decide for myself what I want to do with this time and not have to trade my time for money. I mean, like the saying goes, time is money. I mean, we say that to remind ourselves that time has value. And it really does. I mean, by the time I get to 65, I mean, I think I'm in good health, but like the older we get, the less time we're likely to have. I don't want to get too morbid here, but there really is a premium on my time these days. So the fact that I can live in Bangkok, choose what I want to do each day without the pressure of having to, or expectation of having to attend a full-time job. I mean, whether that's like remote work or actually going into an office. And there's massive benefits to having a job as well. Like the social side of it is great. But I think it's difficult to know until you make the leap to like early retirement or quitting your job or whatever sort of you want to call it. Until you do that, you don't necessarily know whether what you've got saved is going to be enough or not. And I think the tendency is to worry that it's not going to be enough. So we keep deferring the decision to quit, to retire, just putting it off another year, until we slowly creep towards that sort of 65-ish age of regular retirement. And I'm really happy that I gambled. Taking it back to my initial investments, that was pure gambling. And I lost. But in the gamble of do I retire, do I not retire, I think I made the right decision. So yeah, I would say I gambled and I won. Just having the next decade, the next 2 decades, to decide for myself what I want to do, I think is priceless. If you're interested in the idea of early retirement to Thailand, hopefully I'll see you again. Cheers.